This is no longer a family feud, this is a calculated takedown. And Prince Harry never saw it coming. Behind the polished smiles and silent walkabouts, Prince William has been building something lethal, something precise, something designed not to forgive, but to end the chaos once and for all. What royal insiders are whispering now is chilling. The future king has activated a secret weapon so sophisticated, so ruthless, that Harry's legal threats suddenly look reckless, even amateur. This isn't a PR tweak, this is war planning. For years, the script was predictable. Prince Harry would launch a bombshell, an interview here, a memoir grenade there, a strategic leak timed to maximum damage, and William would absorb it in silence. The palace would hide behind tradition. No comment, no rebuttal, dignity over drama, and Harry would dominate the headlines while William took the hits. That era is dead. Sources close to Kensington Palace say William has reached a breaking point. Not an emotional meltdown, something far colder. A strategic awakening. The gloves didn't just come off, they were thrown into the fire. The man who will one day wear the crown has decided that silence is no longer noble when your own brother is trying to torch your reputation and destabilize the institution you're sworn to protect. Here's the twist Harry never calculated. William didn't fight back because he was weak. He waited because he was patient. And now, the timing is brutal. This shift comes exactly as Harry's security lawsuit against the UK Home Office begins to wobble behind the scenes. Exactly as memoir sales flatten. Exactly as Netflix content struggles to land cultural impact. William watched all of it, measured it, logged it, and then, only when Harry's leverage began to erode, he struck. Royal watchers are stunned. Veterans who followed this family for decades describe it as watching a different William emerge. The old William believed family unity could survive anything. This William understands something far darker. Unity dies when trust is repeatedly weaponized. And at the center of this transformation is the so-called secret weapon. It's not a single person, it's a philosophy, a crisis response machine staffed by professionals who don't do garden parties and pleasantries. These are people who've survived the most vicious corporate and political bloodbaths imaginable. Specialists in something Harry's team underestimated completely: litigation public relations, the art of winning public opinion while legal battles rage in parallel. This isn't about court verdicts months from now, it's about perception now. In the modern media battlefield, whoever controls the narrative controls reality. And William has finally accepted what the old royal rulebook refused to acknowledge. Silence today isn't dignity, it's surrender. Insiders say Harry's legal team is already rattled. Why? Because this operation doesn't wait for attacks. It anticipates them. Every leak Harry's camp prepares, William's people have a counter-narrative ready. Every threat now carries consequences Harry never imagined. One source put it bluntly: William is done being the punching bag. The psychological shift alone is devastating. Harry built his entire post-royal strategy on one core assumption: that William would never respond, that the palace would always choose restraint over retaliation, that Harry could lob accusations without meaningful pushback. That assumption has just collapsed. Behind closed doors, William's team has been compiling something insiders describe as a comprehensive dossier. Not gossip, not anonymous smears, receipts, timelines, direct contradictions pulled from Harry's own words, interviews, speeches, memoir passages, public appearances. Every time Harry spoke freely, believing no one would ever call him out, he was unknowingly generating evidence. And the irony is savage. Harry spent years accusing palace communications of being outdated and ineffective. Now that same institution, under William's command, has evolved into something Harry cannot match. Faster, sharper, more credible, more disciplined. And the first battlefield? Harry's security case. Publicly, Harry frames it as a moral crusade, a prince denied his birthright protection. Privately, legal observers say the case is far shakier than his PR suggests. The argument that a non-working royal deserves taxpayer-funded security sits on unstable ground. Even worse, Harry's own statements over the years directly undermine his legal position. William's team has reportedly cataloged them all. Every time Harry appeared relaxed at public events, every admission about private security arrangements, every contradiction between what he claims in court filings and how he behaves in real life. The hypocrisy angle isn't subtle, it's glaring. And now, for the first time, someone is prepared to spotlight it. One insider summed it up coldly: Harry created a paper trail a mile long, and now he's trapped inside it. But the legal pressure is only half the story. Behind the scenes, reports paint Harry as increasingly isolated, increasingly frantic. Attempts to reconnect with family members allegedly go unanswered, not rejected, not negotiated, ignored. Messages vanish into silence, especially when it comes to Catherine. According to sources, William has issued a crystal clear directive to palace staff: shut this down. No calls, no messages, no back channels. The door Harry slammed on his way out, it's been sealed from the inside. And this is where the emotional miscalculation becomes fatal. Harry seems genuinely shocked that public accusations didn't end with open arms and forgiveness. He views himself as a truth-teller forced into exile. The family views him as someone who made deliberate choices and must live with the consequences. These two realities will never meet. What's emerging now is something Harry never expected to face: an institution that no longer sees him as a wounded brother to protect, but as a destabilizing threat to neutralize. And this is only the opening phase. Because if Harry escalates again, William's team is prepared to go nuclear, but that comes next. What William's team has prepared next is not rumor, not bluster, not a scare tactic whispered to intimidate. It is a deterrent strategy so severe that insiders call it the nuclear option. And once you understand what that really means, the entire Harry vs. the Palace saga snaps into terrifying focus. This is not about one document, not one leak, not one carefully worded rebuttal. It is a systematic historical accounting, a forensic reconstruction of the Sussex narrative itself. Sources say Prince William's crisis operation has assembled a body of material that maps every major claim Harry has made against verifiable records, timelines, correspondence, and third-party documentation. Not opinions, evidence. The kind journalists can independently confirm, the kind lawyers take very seriously, the kind that permanently alters credibility. The strategy is simple and ruthless. If Prince Harry escalates again, another memoir, another interview, another attack framed as his truth, William's team doesn't argue. They release receipts, not emotional counterclaims, not palace denials, documentation that forces every future Sussex allegation to be filtered through skepticism. This isn't designed to destroy Harry in one blow. It's designed to poison the well forever. One royal watcher described it as reputational attrition warfare. Every contradiction exposed, every exaggeration documented, every misremembered detail placed side by side with the record. Over time, the effect becomes devastating, not explosive, but corrosive. Harry's most valuable currency, moral authority, evaporates. And here's the part Harry allegedly didn't anticipate. This material exists because for years, William chose not to use it. That silence wasn't weakness, it was protection. Insiders say William repeatedly blocked aggressive responses because he didn't want to be the brother who destroyed the other brother publicly. But something fundamental changed: the safety of his wife, the future of his children, the stability of the monarchy he will inherit. Those priorities now outrank residual loyalty. As one source put it bluntly, William is no longer protecting Harry from himself. And that realization has rippled through Harry's camp like a shockwave. Because once the palace stopped absorbing damage quietly, Harry's entire strategy collapsed. His leverage depended on asymmetry, attack without response. Control the narrative while the institution stayed silent. That advantage is gone. What replaced it is something Harry's operation cannot match: speed, credibility, and discipline. Every planted story now meets an immediate counter-narrative. Not days later, not next week, within hours. More detailed, better sourced, more damaging. Journalists notice, editors notice, the public notices. One insider compared the shift to this: Harry is still playing checkers. William's team is playing grandmaster chess. And nowhere has this imbalance been more painful than in Harry's ongoing legal battles. Behind closed doors, sources describe negotiations with the UK Home Office as increasingly tense and increasingly unfavorable to Harry. The sympathetic framing his lawyers relied on has cracked. Decision makers now have contexts Harry's PR machine worked hard to suppress. And here's the critical detail: everything William's team has done is lawful. There is nothing improper about ensuring officials have the full picture rather than a curated victim narrative. Nothing unethical about pointing out inconsistencies between public statements and legal claims. Nothing wrong with highlighting behavior that contradicts alleged fear levels. One legal observer put it mercilessly: Harry's case always leaned more on emotion than precedent. Now the emotion is wearing thin, and the consequences are stacking up. Harry reportedly believed escalation would force concessions. Instead, Escalation triggered resistance. The institutions he challenged aren't behaving according to the old royal playbook anymore. They aren't cautious, they aren't fearful, they aren't tiptoeing around appearances. They're responding. But the most destabilizing development may have nothing to do with courts or headlines. It's happening inside Harry's own marriage. The sources close to the situation say Meghan Markle is quietly repositioning herself, and the contrast with Harry could not be sharper. Her public focus is pivoted hard toward lifestyle branding, entrepreneurship, wellness, and celebrity alliances. Cooking shows, product launches, aspirational imagery, a future untethered from royal grievance. Meanwhile, Harry remains locked in combat mode, lawsuits, interviews, unresolved anger. William's team has noticed this divergence, and they're allegedly amplifying it subtly, carefully, without overt accusations. The emerging narrative suggests something deeply uncomfortable, that even Meghan recognizes the diminishing returns of perpetual warfare with the royal family. One insider's assessment was brutal. She's building an exit ramp. He doesn't even realize he needs one. Whether that framing is fair or palace-driven psychological pressure is impossible to know for certain. But the observable facts align. Meghan's projects are forward-looking. Harry's are backward-facing. Her brand avoids royal conflict. His identity remains consumed by it. And this raises a question Harry may not be ready to confront. What happens if the war he refuses to abandon costs him the very partnership that launched it? As this reality sets in, Harry faces a crossroads. Though insiders suggest he doesn't see it yet, he can de-escalate, accept that his leverage is gone. Seek quiet settlement, build a future that doesn't depend on antagonizing a 700-year-old institution with superior resources, discipline, and patience. Or he can escalate again and trigger a response that makes everything so far look merciful. Because the nuclear option is real. And those who've seen pieces of the compiled dossier insist it is not a bluff. This is mutually assured destruction as deterrence. William is effectively signaling, I won't strike first, but I will strike last. And for the first time in this long saga, Harry is not the one holding the cards. The brother who thought silence meant weakness has learned the hardest lesson of all. The most dangerous opponents are the ones who wait. The heir to the throne didn't refuse to fight. He refused to fight before he was ready. Now he is. What happens next depends on Harry's capacity for self-reflection, something critics argue has been painfully absent throughout this saga. He can adapt to the new reality, or he can continue charging forward, triggering consequences that will permanently redefine how history remembers him. The patient brother has become the strategist. The protected brother has become the problem. And the institution that survived centuries of existential threats has finally decided it will survive this one too, with or without Harry.